Hi everyone, Freesat Spares here. So we had a lot of complaints about the last video I made about this box. I would agree with all the comments on the previous video. I'll put a link up here somewhere. But unfortunately for everyone, more comments I get, the more it pushed the video out, and actually it got a lot of views. But I thought eventually I will make a video about this Manhattan T4-R recordable box. It was out last year. It's a very basic Freeview recorder box. You can see here the listing of apps that are on it. Obviously UK Play has changed to U and stupid branding, but yeah, that's basically what we're going to cover. We're going to look inside the box, show you the box itself, and then I'll get the menu systems up and go through them like I didn't do in the last video because I was just excited that it was new to the market. Let's see if this video gets as many reviews and comments. So this is a completely free to use box that plugs into your TV aerial, not satellite. It's got Freeview play function, which allows you to rewind TV and stream directly from the guide system, and then it's got all these apps built in. As you will notice, there is no Netflix, and I don't think they've updated it. When we plug this box in, we will run an update and see if they have done anything with it, but I don't believe they have. Manhattan make a range of boxes for satellite and terrestrial TV. We sell a lot of the Manhattan SX, which is their basic satellite viewing box. Tiny little box, probably about the same size as this. And I've done videos on those before. Great for second rooms. This is really to replace, if you're looking at replacing your older Manhattan boxes like the T3, or if you've got something like a Humax T1000, a Foxsat. I'm trying to think of all the different names. Foxsat HD, or was that a satellite box? No, there was a Foxsat. Anyway, anything that's aerial based, older, this is sort of designed for the very basic functionality of, because lots of people like to be able to record. They don't want to bother with the streaming services. Lots of people like to be able to record. Anyway, so let's just open the box. This box has already been opened. In the box, you get your manual, you get the box itself, which is about the size of 3 hands, you can see there. Let's turn this round. Aerial in, loop out to other devices or up to the TV. Optical audio, HDMI, network hardwire connection. It does have Wi-Fi as well. And a USB port. I don't think there's any functions on the USB port on this device. This is a 500 gig model, but all models will be the same size. These are actually, as far as I'm aware, they're designed, like it says, designed in the UK, made in China. Very neat, compact box with no fans, as far as I'm aware, so we're not going to hear any noise from it. Yeah, and 12-volt supply, so if you are in a caravan, you can buy an adapter from us that will allow you to run it in your caravan. Comes with a HDMI cable, remote control. Has it got a power pack in it? Oh, no, I've stolen the power pack. Don't worry. I was using the power pack for something else. So let's see how we go with this. This remote, there's 2 different versions of the Manhattan remote. There's this one that's flat, and there's a curved model. And I'm not 100% sure which boxes are shipped with which, to be honest. I seem to have, obviously when we get new boxes in, we don't open them, we just send them from the wholesaler direct to the customer. So yeah, you might get a remote like this, you might get a remote that's got a much more curved and a slightly smaller design. I prefer this remote. It's a nice layout, lots of space, easy to use, quite a clever little remote in the design layout. I think they know that possibly people with less interest in technology are going to be using this device. So that's sort of what they've shipped it with. Let's have a quick look in the quick start guide. So it tells you what you get in your box. Tells you the back of the box and some basic settings. Tells you what the menu system should look like. don't forget, when you look at what we've had a lot over the years with these menu systems, is once companies do updates, these menu systems change, and they often don't bother updating the manual, which is a pain in the bum. Certainly Freesat are guilty of that. UView are guilty of that. There are so many manuals for Humax UView boxes because they change the menu systems over time, which is good that they're updating them, but not necessarily good for you as an end user. You can download this manual direct from the Manhattan TV website. As you can see, look, I think they actually show you the various remote styles that they've got. So you can see the picture there is different to the actual remote I've got for this device. It's not to say I haven't mixed up the remotes, mind. We're a very busy little workshop, and I may have stolen the remote to do something else with. Troubleshooting guide, and then, yeah, there we are. There's the picture of the smaller remote design that seems to come with this box. We do have both of these remotes in stock, as far as I'm aware. Like I said, I've probably nicked this smaller remote to help someone out, another customer out. Anyway, let's pop these in here. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to run some tests. Oh, interestingly, the positive of the battery points down, which is quite unusual. Do we have any lights on this remote? Yep, so the blue light comes on the on button, or the standby button, when we press a button. That's super good. I'm going to pause the video, plug this in and show you how to connect it, and then we'll switch to the InVision so we can have a nice crisp image of the pictures and the menu system. Okay, continuing with the Manhattan T4-R box. Just one thing to note, there is a little button here, which is the power button. I did not realise, I thought it was just like a little bit of design, but it actually is the power button. So when the box is off, that light will change. He says, I don't think it would do anything because we're in setup mode. But essentially, you've got a power button on here, and then two lights. One light shows that you're recording, the other light shows the box is on or off. And connection-wise, on the back, network cable, power cable, HDMI, and aerial in. Not using the other ones for now. So here we go with this is the introduction screen on the Manhattan. I will go through it. After this, I will switch to a video feed so you get a complete connection. Terms and conditions. Brilliant. Click to accept. It's going to check my internet connection. Look at that. I got my internet cable plugged in, and it automatically just scans for your channels. So as long as your aerial's connected in, we would never recommend using this box with an indoor aerial. Make sure you've got a rooftop aerial of some sort. It should find about 126 channels in my area. For you, it will find anything between 80 and 150. So yeah, let's let that finish scanning. As you can see, that's progressing well. So one of the things that the newer Freeview boxes all do is it's a platform update on the Freeview system. Essentially, nowadays you can have channels delivered not just through your aerial, but through another system. It's called HBB-TV. But essentially, it gives you extra channels that are streaming through your internet. At the moment, it's a bit hit and miss, in my opinion, whether or not they work very well. Certainly the newer boxes do it better. And you get extra channels. Euronews is probably one of the ones I watch the most that streams. There's also lots of kids' TV available that is essentially streaming TV. But they show up in your channel list just like a normal channel. They just take a few seconds to load. So there we are, there's a warning. We've tuned the channels in, and then it says, do you want the extra channels from the internet? If you are a technophobe and you're not interested in this, select no. But we're going to say yes, just so we can show you everything. And there's just a warning message about how they use your data, because it is an online service. So they're saying there's only 5 internet channels. I thought there was a few more, but that's fine. So here at this point, we create our PIN. I'm going to make it something nice and easy. I suggest you do too. We're just going to turn off the volume so we don't get a copyright strike. I'm sure we wouldn't. So there we are. There's the main TV channel. And I've flipped down to the 700 channels. So this is going to load an audio-only radio station. There we go. There is the basic menu system. I'll just flick through a few of the channels. On Freeview, all channels are listed in the same way, in the sense that BBC One is at channel 1, ITV2 is at channel 6, etc. That is how it works. If you're in Scotland or Wales, you will get a couple of different channels in some different locations, such as S4C, but the 99% of the channels are listed at the same number. The unfortunate thing with Freeview is, unlike Sky, for example, if channels do move or get cancelled or change frequencies, you do have to do a retune manually. Sometimes the boxes will warn you that, you know, this channel has moved, and you just instigate the tuning of the box. So let's look at the main menu system. I do that by pressing the home button, or the big F as it is on the remote. So there we are. It's showing us we can select TV guide, record, go and look at our recordings and various other things. And the top apps, iPlayer, ITVX, 4, 5, YouTube, and U, which is UK TV. Great Player is a good system. So there's some channels on Freeview called the Great Channels. I think there's Great Romance and Great Movies, and they do actually show some half decent TV. Most of these apps are ad sponsored. Well, all apps are ad sponsored now, so you will get unskippable ads on most of the content you watch. Watch Free, I think, is developed by Channel 5 and the Paramount Group and whoever owns them now. Again, more TV available with AVRIT supported content. Pop Players for kids. There's loads of kids content on there. BBC Sounds is just like your one on your phone. It's the BBC radio stations and extra content like dramas from BBC 4. Freeview Play, we'll look at that later. STV, so if you're in Scotland, it's like ITVX, but similar content, but some specific Scottish content. And S4C is the Welsh language channel. So first thing we're going to do from this menu system is go to Settings and go to System. I think this is where the update option is. So we select. So this box has been on the shelf for a couple of months now. Let's see if there are any updates. No updates detected. So as of this date, let's look at the information about the box. We may have to go back one step. Information. So the current software version is just 2.0. So that's the thing worth remembering. If they haven't actually date stamped these, so 2.0, it's May 2025. So 2.0 is the version number of the software. Oh, it says the date up in the corner. There we go. Various information about signal strength, what network I'm connected to, the TV I'm connected to. You can read all the legal stuff if you want, and the size of hard drive that you've got. So this is the 500 gig model. It will never read 500 gig because it uses some of the space for system management. Let's continue in the settings menu. So this box is 4K, but there are no Freeview channels that stream at 4K. Probably the only thing you're going to get in 4K is probably ITV player content at the moment. And then there's various settings about audio setup, HDR. One of the things that we get a lot of information, complaints, questions about is the way they mix the audio on modern films and programming. If you're having issues with hearing what's going on, switching between the Dolby audio sometimes can help, because sometimes it'll switch from stereo to surround sound, and depending on your setup, it might help you hear things a little bit better. there's lots and lots of settings here. You can change the way the TV guide is displayed. You can filter channels, and you get this thing, which I think is a bit pointless nowadays, the prompt to watch in HD. Most channels that are, like the main BBC channels and ITV are HD anyway now. You can also change the transparency of the menu to make it completely solid. So there's no image in the background there, you may notice, to quite weak. It doesn't really change it a huge amount, but certainly people who have poor eyesight like to switch this function off. Makes it a bit clearer for them to see what's going on. I think that's it. I mean, it is really quite a basic box. There's nothing going on. It's unfortunate, a lot of people say this is a bit annoying that they haven't added Netflix or Amazon Prime to these boxes yet. I have no idea if they have plans to. That is what it is. They may update it in the future, but as I said, this is like the most basic box on the market and is great for people that are not interested in too much of this. So let's have a quick look at YouTube. It should load without too many issues. We can just watch as guest for now. You can add your account, etc. Let's just look at some content. So this is just random content on here. Interestingly, I don't know how many people do it, but you can buy and rent videos and films on YouTube. I'm really not sure if a lot of people do it. Here we are. Here's a nice little video. Hopefully this will play straight away and you can have a look. So, ad sponsored because we haven't got YouTube Premium. If you've got YouTube Premium and you add your account, it will skip these ads for you. And there we are. A nice little song by Bruno Mars and the other lady. What does APT stand for? Oh, I'm assuming it's apartment. Let's go to the apartment. But anyway, that is that. Let's have a look at the recordings menu. I'm going to make a quick recording and then we'll come back and show you how Actually, let's flip to guide. Here we are. Here is the main guide. I've switched off the transparency, remember, so it's slightly darker colours than you may have on your box if you haven't changed that setting. But it's quite easy to scroll through. Anything with this sort of play rewind symbol, the little circular symbol on there, is basically it's telling you it's part of the Freeview Play, and you'll be able to, if you click on it, it will open iPlayer or ITVX and show you the program from the beginning if you've missed the start by streaming it on your internet connection. I think that's nice and easy. It's a nice clear menu system, I think. Right, let's record something and then we'll come back to, let's record this episode. So again, quite easy. You click on it, it says episode or series. That's now recording. We'll come back in 5 minutes once I've got a recording and show you how the recording functions work. Okay, here we go then. Let's continue with our little review. If you are interested and you want to look at the remote here, if I hit pause, there we are. We have paused live TV. And to get back to live TV, you normally press stop. There we go. And it's just going back there. If you press stop twice, it should return to the live broadcast. So let's look at what we've recorded. So it's recording Young Sheldon. I just click the OK button and then it brings up the play option. And there we are. We're in the middle of the adverts at the moment. And then it's got fast forward and rewind buttons, just like any other device. So you can fast forward up to 32 times speed. And then click play again and it will continue playing. Really simple interface. You're not really going to go wrong with that. The remote has subtitles and audio description buttons. And the remote will also control your TV. If you can see the top of that, let's try and focus on the remote. It's got you can program these remotes to program just to do the basic functions of your TV, like TV on off and volume control. yeah, simple as that really. If we want to go back to the recordings menu, there's a nice big recordings button at the top. And it takes us back to what we've recorded. And I think that's it really for the Manhattan T4-R box. Very simple to use, quite simple online apps. And there's been no update for I think they've been out about 18 months and no one's updated them with any premium systems yet. So if you're looking for something just simple and you want something that's just got the basic functionality without all the bells and whistles, then the Manhattan SX box is a great option. It's also great if you were travelling around in your caravan or you've got a boat or some sort of holiday home. You can literally unplug these and take them to the other place quite easily. You're not really going to do it any damage at all by moving it around, as long as you make sure it's switched off when you move it. You don't want to damage the hard drive that's inside. Hope you've enjoyed this review of the Manhattan T4-R recordable Freeview box. If you have any questions, pop them below. If you want to buy one, then pop over to freesatspares.co.uk.